Seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
Billy,
lot.
Yeah, Billy, you kind of nailed the pregame by saying Kevin doesn't run from it. He wants it all. I mean, he opens 4 for 16. He just keeps coming in. Some of those shots he did down the stretch were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he made some tough shots. That's what he does. I said, before the game, he I think thrives in those things. Like he plays in it. And the other thing too is like I think sometimes like guys can like, say that they want it and just shoot the ball, right? Like he does it in an efficient way where he has an expectation that he puts the ball in the basket, and he doesn't shy away from it. So I've always admired that about him.
The game, Billy, it seemed like you got that 20-point lead in the third quarter. Alex got the foul. And then it got a little chippy, maybe, Eubanks with that. What would you see in that last sequence of the third quarter where the game changed?
That's where I thought the game, we gave them a lot of momentum there. The same thing happened, quite honestly, in the second quarter. They kind of got back down to about 12 or so, and then we kind of were able to kind of right the ship again. But, that stretch there was tough. We didn't score. We didn't stop them. It got physical. There was probably some fouls that it could have been called maybe both ways. But no question, the momentum of the game changed, during that time.
Was there anything that stood out to you at that point, other than, like you say, they scored, you didn't score? Was there something in specific that,
I mean, we got Alex. I would have liked to have had Alex in there personally, if I could have had him in there. I played Patrick Williams way too many minutes. I played him the whole third quarter straight through. I didn't really feel like there was another solution with Kevin out there, during that time. And I was worried about bringing Alex back and him picking up his fifth with, we were still up at that point by maybe, I think we went into the fourth up 7. So it wasn't like, we were down 15 and you're like, okay, let's put him back in there. What do we got to lose? We were still kind of in control. And I thought that sequence there hurt us. Probably paying Patrick too many minutes, when he was on Durant, and having to take Alex out. Because normally what we've done is we've taken Alex out pretty early in quarters to save him to come back late. But with the fouls, I didn't want to do that, And then we still at that point in time we're up by 7 going into the fourth, I think it was. So it wasn't like, certainly momentum changed, but we had an opportunity. But certainly that I thought those two segments there in the second quarter, or at the end of the first, beginning of that second, and then the same thing in the end of the third, fourth, where the game changed.
Billy, how much did you think Eubanks kind of had some sneaky good minutes for them, especially in that third quarter? He seemed to raise the physicality, had his hands on a lot of guys, and doing some different things where it just kind of seemed to lead to that momentum change as well.
Yeah, no, I think, there was, he got called for that technical foul, against Kobe, and then, he wrapped Drum up, and I don't even know if it was reviewed or not, but, he certainly came in and physically tried to change the game, with the way he played. I thought he gave them, good minutes, in the game when he was in there. I thought, our second unit at times with him in there, we had a hard time at times. That was a struggle a little bit. But I thought for his minutes that he got, he played well.
What did, obviously it's a very difficult loss, the way you guys played, and to come out like at the end. But, if you could step back, what do you think sort of aesthetically about this game? Your team really stood up. You took control of the game. Kobe, a lot of guys did some, really good things. Are you able to step back and see all that positive? But it's just, hey, we lost it. It's,
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, I'm not I think at this level, like I'm not a big moral victory guy personally. These guys I've got a lot of belief in. But there's a lot of things that we can, learn from. We had post feeds that we turned the basketball over. We had some fouls where we weren't disciplined enough. On a couple plays. I thought we had some empty possessions where we stepped out of bounds. We made some poor choices, but it didn't take away from the spirit and how hard they competed and played. And that's the one thing. I think you can always get better from those moments. So there'll be a lot of positives to take from the game with the way these guys competed and played. But then I think there's a lot of things that we have to understand. This is a team that's probably all in trying to win a championship, and they've been banged up and they've had injuries and they're starting to get whole. So they're obviously, coming right a little past the midway point. They're trying to get their rhythm as well. And when you're in a game like that, there's a lot we can learn from that, so there was a lot of great things out there. I mean, I couldn't be any more pleased or proud with the way they competed and played and the way they fought and battled. And the fact that it went back and forth and we didn't wilt and, we kept coming back at them, even though they got control. It wasn't like all of a sudden, we lost a 7-point lead and we got down by 3 and then it went from 15 and the game was over with the last 5 minutes. Like we kept going back and forth. DeMar's play was tough. I didn't really see it on the replay. That was obviously a big 2 points taken away and potential 3-point play. Patrick, I thought, we had an opportunity to maybe get him on a lob back there, and they fouled him. Maybe he caught it. So there was just like little things that I think happened in the course of the game that we can clean up. And I think when you start talking about like effort and competing, it makes it really, really hard where you're starting there. Whereas I thought we really did a great job of that, and now we got to clean up some of the execution stuff.
First quarter, you guys probably played as well as you've played all season. Did you see that? I mean, it seemed like moving the ball, passing, a lot of open shots, tackling the rim. It seemed like everything was going well.
I think for our group, that's how we have to play. And I don't think early in the year, we necessarily played to that identity. And I think as the season's gone on, there's been enough minutes that have passed by that I think they can look at how we've got to play. And we're at our best. Vooch is at his best. DeMar's got great vision and can see. Vooch is a really good connector and facilitator. So, yeah, I love the way we played. We moved it, we shared it. We had a lot of guys involved. The last several games it's been, 5 to 7 guys in double figures. It's been close to 30 assists. All those things have been really, really positive. To me, there's been some games this year, quite honestly, that we've lost that we have no right to be upset about. And this is a game you could be upset about because you poured your heart and soul in it and you came up short, and there's nothing for them to hang their heads about. And I'm not trying to, like I said, make it about a moral victory, but there's a lot of good things we did competitively in the game that we can hopefully build upon. But I do, to your point in the first quarter, really, really like the intentions of the way we played.
Did you have 2 plays called in that last time out?
I did. The play I had on was for a lob,
right.
And the last thing I anticipated was, probably a foul in that situation. And
It's going to work or not?
yeah, because I knew they had a foul. And I didn't want to get caught into a situation where all of a sudden we're having to maybe they fouled right away, and now it's 0.5 seconds or 0.6 seconds or a second goes off on the foul. So we tried to run a lob play, and they obviously called the foul. We tried to go back to the play that we ran before that. And, with 1 second to go, they're kind of all jammed up. And we just tried to, DeMar made a great break just to try to get open and get something. I think maybe I could have tried to help them a little bit more in that situation. I think they were trying to get to a different action. And probably from my perspective, maybe could have given them. But we had talked about, we knew they had a foul to give. And the play that we had on was to really try to almost eliminate them having to foul, was to try to get Patrick behind the defense. But after they did foul, I think I could have done better in terms of trying to help them there in that situation.
Billy, with all that star power on the other team, obviously, what does it say about what Kobe did tonight? Kind of just, big layups and just kind of trying to match them all. I think he was 1 assist away from a triple-double or something.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and I think we talked about this, Joe, a little bit. It's those guys are great players, and DeMar alongside of them, all probably 3 of those guys will be in the Hall of Fame. So you're talking about high-level players who've done it at a high level, but maybe Kobe is not as established as those guys are in terms of their number of years, in the league. But what he's done from his rookie year to now, I think speaks to where he can get to. He's been unbelievable. He's played incredibly well. And, I said to you guys, these guys have been multi-time All-Stars. Kevin, Beal, Booker. I know Booker, maybe in the West there's been some times where maybe he's got it to short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Certainly DeMar's been there enough. But I think some of our guys showed that they can play in a game like that. And to me, I think it's always about how your team competes, and, even though they had a lot of that star power, our team really competed against them. And I thought Kobe competed really well and did a lot of good things, and showed that he's, I think in this league going to be an elite basketball player, an elite guard in the league. I really believe that, and it's all because of the work that he's put into it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We're going to open